So, hello and good evening, all. And once again, here we are, a very, very warm welcome to what is the Mossa Health Foundation Charity's sixth episode in our 2021 series of conversational fireside chats. There's no fireside here, but hey, just imagine it for a minute, okay? With interesting guests and personalities called In Conversation with, hosted by myself, Michael McGrath. Now, as you've perhaps seen from previous episodes, these conversations can be very entertaining, they can be fascinating, they can be lightly amusing, and on occasion, they can be blisteringly comical. Either way, they're designed to bring our muscle warrior families, our community of young people and adults with muscular dystrophy together. And we know that these conversations have now reached in excess of 100,000 people across the country, and they're continuing, get this, to be watched weeks after an episode is finished. And the goal remains to help our families feel less isolated and a little bit more connected during these challenging times. Now, before I introduce tonight's special guest, I'm once again transmitting through this broadcast vast quantities of virtual hugs, heaps of love, and oceans of hope to our community, to our families. As I've said in pretty much every episode before, know that you're not alone, that the Muscle Health Foundation charity is here to help you, to listen to you, to support you however we're able to at this time, and to let you know that we're thinking of you. We're thinking of your families, and we're thinking of your well-being. So, without further ado, a few important housekeeping points. Firstly, a little safeguarding note. As always, we have eyes over tonight's broadcast. So, if any improper comments or unacceptable behaviors or any profanity are observed, know that action will be taken. And secondly, all episodes are recorded and streamed on the charity's Facebook and YouTube channels. And as always, do you know what you can do? You can help us grow our reach, grow the charity's reach by subscribing, by commenting, and by sharing, please. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's episode is simply called Luisi's 21 Guide to Life in Lockdown. There's the show's title, and it gives me enormous pleasure to welcome someone I've got to know and his family, and I reckon over the last 9 years or possibly 10 years or so, and we'll pick up on that in a second. Someone who, as I said at the back end of our last episode, lives a very full life, who identifies as a glass half full kind of guy, who's always positive, and who not only is supported by his family, but who I've witnessed supports his family whenever he's able to. And right now, this wretched pandemic has meant that he and his family, like many, have had no choice but to adapt to new ways of living, new ways of doing things, and I know it hasn't been easy. So put your hands together and let's hear it for Gianluca Luisi. Hey, Gianluca, a very warm welcome.
Evening.
How's it going?
Good, thank you. It's great to be on. I'm very grateful for this opportunity, really.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, Luisi's Guide to Life in Lockdown. It's a great title. So come on then, Gianluca. Who's been doing the family's lockdown haircuts?
Dad, of course. And lucky for me, because a lot of people have suffered with bad haircuts over the last year. I've seen a few of them. And no, it's just great. And, I'm glad that I've got a family of hairdressers.
A family of hairdressers. So we have already a member, perhaps of your family, Patrizio Maffio, who says "Ciao Sina, ciao Rino." Do you want to help me out with that?
That's one of my many relatives. He's just saying hello. Yeah,
that's wonderful. And they're tuning in from where?
From Italy, but I've got family all over the world tuning in. So hello to all of them.
Fantastic, fantastic. Do you want to do that in Italian, or should we do that later?
No, that's all right.
Okay,
I've taught them a bit of English over the years.
Very good. So Gianluca, I reckon that our paths crossed first back in 2012 at the London Paralympics.
That's correct. Yeah, I
Um,
think so.
and you joined, I think it was about 75 other families from across the UK, and we had like 10 or 15 families joining our program each day of the Paralympics, part of the Games Inspired Muscle Dreams program. Do you remember?
Yeah, that was
Um,
brilliant. That was eye-opening, to say the least.
Eye-opening. So I thought, you know what, a good place to kick off tonight's conversation. So we're going to pop up a little slide, and you can start telling us a little bit of a story. Tell us more about what's going on here. We got 2 or 3 little slides, and just tell us
Oh
a little bit
dear.
more about what's going on here. What's happening
Well,
here?
as you can see, that's before I had facial hair, and yeah, I think I'm getting a medal there. I guess it was a long time ago. Um, yeah. Oh my God. The
Yeah,
family, of
the,
course.
the
My
trip down
brother's
memory
lost a fair
lane.
bit of weight since then. Um,
He's looking much
my
trimmer these
God.
days.
Mum and dad haven't changed.
Excellent. It's so lovely to see you all smiling and enjoying yourself and being in the moment. It was a bit special, the whole thing, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, and a lot of friends of mine were on the experience as well, um, and it was an amazing time to be living in London. Amazing time uh, to host the Olympics.
Which sports did you get the opportunity to see?
I think I saw the a lot of the Paralympic stuff, the some of the 100-meter running races, the swimming, the wheelchair tennis, which was
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and it was just amazing to be part of something like that. Um, when we first heard that it was going to be in London, I never thought I'd really get to go. So the opportunity to go was just historic, really. And yeah, I was new to the charity. I've been involved in many events since then, but that was the first one.
Fantastic, fantastic. I think, Grace, we've got another slide we can pop up, a third slide. Or it's like a group picture of everyone. Let's just see where that might come as we go along. But so a little bit of a gear change, a little bit of a gear change.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Look, there we are. And there you are in the middle there, wearing a very cool pair of shades. And it was we were blessed, weren't we, with incredible weather throughout the whole
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, it was
Um,
amazing.
so a little bit of a gear change. Let's have a little chatter about your love of movies. Now, I know that you love a bit of The Godfather.
Yeah, and any gangster related movie, really.
Yeah,
Of course, an action movie with a fast car and a car chase is
car
brilliant. But
chase.
The Godfather, Goodfellas, those kind of movies um, speak to me. Uh, Not that we're all in that life, as you say, it's quite a stereotypical thing of Italians because of the movies. Um, but no, I love movies in general, and I always have been. Hence my journey into YouTube in some ways.
We're going to come on to that a little bit later in the conversation, but let's just stay with the Godfather for a second, because you'll know probably the name Mario Puzo.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, so he's like, he wrote the novel, didn't he? He's the American author who wrote The Godfather. And here's the thing, he never said that The Godfather was in fact a true story. In fact, he always said that he had no help whatsoever from any members of the mafia, and that all the info in the book was purely fictional. And I just wonder whether you had a particular favorite, whether Godfather Part One or Part Two, because there's always, there's people that
yeah,
know those films and they love those films so much. Is it for you the story of a young Vito Corleone, who if you remember, he was acted by Robert De Niro,
yeah,
and he got an Oscar actually for that, or is it the story of Michael Corleone, who was brilliantly played by Al Pacino, the new kind of Don of the Corleone family? Are you the Don of the Luisi family, I wonder?
I don't know about that. My granddad might hold that title, uh,
Yeah.
but No, in terms of the two movies, I have to say the first one. The second one is brilliant too. Don't get me wrong, but the first one is where it all starts, really.
Yeah, that's great. So little, we got some messages coming into the chat room. So Shay says hi, Liam says hi, and
Hi, guys.
we've got okay, we got a message here coming in from Italy, from Rino Maffeo, who says,
Uncle
forgive
Reno.
me, this is my accent, okay? So cool to listen in. This is Uncle Reno from Italy.
Yes.
Shout out to Uncle Reno. Very good. And in fact, Reese has just popped up as well. So Reese, for those that don't know, Reese is the captain of the Muscle Warriors Powerchair Football, and he's put a question. He said, "I've got to ask, are you prepared for another poor Ferrari season like the last few? You should change to Mercedes." We're going to come back to that question.
Never changing team.
We're going to come back to that question. Remind me to come back to that question. So Gianluca, because I know you've looked at a number of these episodes, something that we're doing as part of these In Conversation with broadcast is we kind of do like a quick fire, some quick fire rounds to allow our audience to get to know our guests a little bit more. Okay, so are you ready for this?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Nutella, love it or loathe it?
Love it.
Tiramisu or your mum's zeppoli?
Love it as well.
Tiramisu or zeppoli?
It'd have to be the zeppole.
Zeppole. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Well, no. It's about right. Yeah.
It's about right. Okay, I'll go with that. Most used emoji on your smartphone?
It's like a smiley face, but it's like winking with its tongue
Winking
out.
smiley face. Okay, good. So pizza or risotto or bolognese?
Pizza for sure.
Any particular type?
Margarita with
Margarita.
black olives.
Oh, nice, very nice. Marzipan or mango?
Mango.
Sirloin, ribeye, fillet or T-bone?
Fillet's quite nice. Yeah.
Okay. Most listened to song in your playlist?
I'm not sure about which song, but it could definitely be a song by Kings of Leon, one of my favorite bands,
One of your favorite bands?
A Pink Floyd song, any one of theirs.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, Pink Floyd, great band. Lamborghini, Bugatti, or Ferrari?
Ferrari every time.
And one item that you take to a desert island?
My Spotify playlist. So my phone, basically.
With a charger, or was that a solar charger? So you got the sun presumably charging constantly.
Oh yeah, of course.
Wicked, very good. And I got some more of those quick fire questions lined up for you a little bit later, but I want to chat to you now about this particular photograph. Okay, there's a picture of you and your family.
Oh god.
And it's just coming up here, and there it is. Everyone is laughing hysterically, beautifully, and
I look like I'm crying from here.
Where are we, and what's going on here?
If I'm not mistaken, I think is it at what, the Silverstone event?
That's
one
right.
of them.
That's right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's right. So we're all sitting around a lunch table before we head off to the Porsche Experience Center at Silverstone.
That was a great day out. That was.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was a while back now.
Yeah.
But yeah, just amazing experience. Of course, since then I learned to drive myself and got behind the wheel. So I was very grateful for that. But at that speed, like it's just a different thing altogether.
Yeah, for sure. What are some of the experiences or some of the memories that you have of that particular program?
Well, basically, we were doing donuts on there's a track where they spray water on it to make it easier for doing donuts.
Yeah.
And we're doing a donut, and he hit a piece of dry tarmac, and the car just like jolted suddenly, and it was like the realization of the speed in some ways.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. I was hoping you might say the good food as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
There's lots of food because nobody goes hungry on our watch, do they? You've heard
No,
me say that before.
no, I've never gone hungry on any of your events. I'll be honest.
Good stuff. I'm going to jump into the chat room because Adam says hi. Hi, Adam. Thanks for tuning
All
in.
right.
And let's have a look. Kings of Leon featured on the new 657 playlist. And Shari's just popped a message in. Thank you for that, Shari. Fantastic. I wonder who. I wonder where we're at with that playlist. Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's good.
And Karen says hi. Good evening.
Evening.
Hello, Dora Luisi.
One of my aunties
Says
in Italy.
another auntie in Italy says ciao, Gianluca.
Ciao,
Very
ciao.
good. It's wonderful to hear all the family. So I've got another picture which I'm going to pop up.
Okay.
You might remember this lady. She was one of our previous guests. And what's going on here, Gianluca?
We're having some banter.
Yeah.
With Vicky. Yeah, that was great meeting her as well, because I know Top Gear is good, but I always watched Fifth Gear as well, so I was a big fan. I was a bit like shy in that moment, like when you meet a famous person. You get a bit starstruck. But no, we just had a normal conversation, and it was brilliant. Yeah, just another great day out.
Well, she was brilliant to be there, and she was very cool, just like you were very cool in the moment. And and speaking of banter, so Liam's just popped up, who is the manager of the Muscle Warriors Powerchair Football Club, and he's said, Gianluca, I wish that you'd moved. I wish you moved that quick on the pitch. I think he's talking about the car experience you just shared with us, and the analogy of going fast.
No, I can be quick when I want to be.
I know. Yeah, I know. I've seen it. And Dora Luisi, she says, "Bella foto, Gianluca."
She appreciated the photo.
Yeah, good stuff. We're getting an Italian lesson here. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
So let's just have a little chat about that Porsche driving experience for a minute. Because of COVID, we've had no choice, sadly, but to postpone what would have been the charity's 10th anniversary last year.
Yeah.
And kind of, what is it about that particular programming? It's one of our signature programs, if not the charity's signature program, working in partnership with Porsche and Whittlebury Hall. And we've put 70, maybe 80 young people through that particular program. If there was one thing that you wanted to say about that program, perhaps to other people tuning in tonight that maybe haven't heard about the charity's Porsche Muscle Dream Driving Experience program, what would you be saying about it to them?
I'd say, well, if you like speed and you like meeting people and having a good laugh, it's perfect. Something in life that's important is meeting new people, human connection that maybe people have been lacking the last year through no fault of our own. So an event like that it's brilliant. It brings people together, and when things get back to normal, it'll be great to see other people get to enjoy the experience like I did.
I'm loving your optimism, because you said when things get back to normal rather than if, and they will get back to normal. Absolutely. I love your optimism. I've always said that to you. Now, I know that there'll be other families tuning in tonight who, Gianluca, would love to hear a little bit more about living life with muscular dystrophy. In other words, how your journey has unfolded, perhaps, one or two insights into your coping strategies, and just a little bit more about the particular type of muscular dystrophy that you have, and what maybe, what your aspirations are for the future. Tell us more.
Of course. So it's Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and I know of a lot of friends of mine that have the condition, but there's many other varieties of the condition out there. And yeah, it's been my life, of course, from early age, and I could walk up until the age of 11, and that change was difficult, of course, for anyone. But no, coping strategies really, it's just about being positive, being yourself, not being worried about being yourself or like standing out from the rest, because in some ways that's a good thing. Of course, it's very difficult when you go into like secondary school, things like that, you know, you just have to, well, I would say be strong, but like, it comes with age. And now I've learned a lot over the years. And I think if it wasn't for the disability, I would not have the same understanding of the world, or maybe the same view. It's strange because a lot of people, there's people who they could be able most of their lives and then might get in an accident or something that could render them disabled in some way, and that can be very difficult. But for my situation, I learned to deal with having a disability from such a young age that it's different, and I'm quite positive, like you said, and made a lot of friends over the years despite my disability. And to the younger viewers out there, don't let it stop you doing what you want to do, really, or being yourself, or interacting with other people, regardless of what makes us different as people. We're all human beings at the end of the day, and yeah.
That's such a powerful message right there. Be yourself, and just explore what's possible rather than perhaps what's impossible. What people might tell you is impossible. You can't do that. Knowing you as I do, you'll always find a way, and explore what's possible. That's great advice. Really fantastic advice. And so now we're going to jump into our second quick-fire round, which I've carefully constructed. So here we go. Juventus, Milan, or Lazio?
It would be Inter Milan. So yeah.
Inter Milan. Okay.
Yeah, because there's two teams in Milan. But yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. What was breakfast this morning? What did that look like for you?
Hot chocolate.
Nice. With marshmallows on top?
Hot chocolate. No mushrooms. Marshmallows.
Mushrooms, yeah. Mushrooms in hot chocolate. There's a whole new thing right there. I love it.
I've invented something new. Brilliant. There you go.
We're innovating in this moment. Food hell.
What's that? Sorry.
Food hell.
Food. What? Sorry.
Food hell, as in what kind of food do you absolutely don't like?
Oh, okay. Avocado.
Okay. Food heaven.
Spaghetti with mussels or prawns.
Nice. Does your mum make a good spaghetti with mussels dish?
She does, yeah. So
we'll be round later. Okay, so younger brother's most endearing habit.
So you mean like the something good that he does?
Yeah.
Makes me laugh. Like when we're in the middle of an argument, he'll just say something that just make us both crack up with laughter, and then we'll forget the whole argument.
I love it. Laughter is such an important thing, isn't it? One of our programs that we've delivered as a charity was Laughter 1 and Laughter 2 was a week or so ago, and this idea of introducing laughter champions into all of our families across the country. So from this moment on, Massimo is clearly the laughter champion in your household, yes?
Yeah, he delivers jokes better than I do.
Does he? Oh, that's great. It's good to hear. So listen, if money was no object, what would you be doing?
Owning loads of fast cars, paying someone to drive me around racetracks in them.
Very good. Very good. Do you sometimes have that conversation in your family? What if we won the lottery? Do you have that conversation sometimes?
I'm sure every family does.
Yeah.
And the first thing is you don't tell anybody. Otherwise, well, the family I've got, The amount of people in my family will run out of money by the time we're done.
Very good, very good. Now, do you have a favorite word or a favorite phrase?
I do have a favorite phrase. The more you give to life, the more you get from life.
I love it. The more you give to life, the more you get from life. It's fantastic. And speaking of advice, what's the best bit of advice that you'd give your younger self?
Don't doubt yourself, really. Just be yourself and be humble.
One thing that you're excited about that's coming up this year?
Summer, and hopefully, fingers crossed, a holiday.
Holiday. Yes. And Gianluca, if you could win an Olympic medal for any sport, okay, so real or fake, what would it be?
This might sound crazy, but Powerchair football, but
Yes.
of course that's a long way away, but
yes,
not too
good
far
answer.
away.
Good answer. And if someone were to play Gianluca Luisi in an upcoming movie, who would you want it to be?
I have been told by my dad I look like Christian Bale sometimes. I've had Johnny Depp, but to play me in a movie, I don't know. Maybe Christian Bale.
Okay. So we got a beautiful segue now, because I got a picture coming up of somebody who's clearly cooling down and enjoying themselves in the moment. And you can tell me a little bit about what's going on here for a second.
Oh, I knew you'd bring this photo up. That was a funny trick you played on my dad, and it was a hot day, so brilliant.
I think for those that have tuned in this evening, it was a blisteringly hot day, and we were at Haileybury College.
Yeah.
And we were doing one of our charity. Was it like a 3K or a 5K family run?
And I think it was a 1K wheelchair race as well.
That's right. And I think we got a picture. I think we got a picture of you coming up. Here we go. You're speeding along around the grounds of Haileybury, and there's your dad, and that's the brother as well running behind you of Matin. Yes.
Yeah.
And if we can just go to the other picture where you're with Matin, there's another bit. There's Matin. I wanted to remember Matin in this moment.
Yeah.
Matin, for those that don't know, was the goalkeeper for the Muscle Warriors Powerchair Football Club. Sadly, no longer with us, but he was such a spirited, beautiful young person.
He was there when I started all those years ago. 13 years ago, I started Powerchair Football. And
really?
Yeah.
What are your memories of Matin?
Brilliant goalkeeper, very calm, always very calm in goal. Yeah, and just all around a great guy, great friend.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump back into the chat room, because we're getting messages from all over the world here. Nicola La, I'm going to pronounce these names. I'm going to try my best. Okay, so forgive me if I get it wrong. Nicola La Terrazza.
That is my dad's brother, my uncle.
Says ciao Gianluca, and also says Gianluca, number 10 Zanetti, Forza Inter.
Famous Inter Milan player, yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Adams, who is your favorite Ferrari driver? Let's go there. Who's your favorite Ferrari driver
of all time? It would have to be Michael Schumacher.
Yeah.
And maybe Felipe Massa.
Okay. Rino Maffeo said, "You're the best, Gianluca. Bravissimo." Liam's popped up. He said, "Forza Napoli." So
they're a great team.
A great team, yeah. And Nicola said, "Spaghetti e vongole."
Yeah, he knows my favorite dish as well.
This is vongole mussels, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Well, this is like a lesson in Italian, isn't it? Let's just keep going with this. So Leslie says hi. She says Abath. I'm not sure what that is.
They make cars.
Do they? Okay, fine. And she's obviously liked some of the photographs that have that we popped up. And Jack, hi Jack, good evening to you and the family. It's great to see you. He says, "Ciao, Gianluca. Which football players inspire your Powerchair football career?" Great question, Jack. Thank you.
I mean, Andrea Pirlo would have to be up there. Roberto Baggio, and probably Jermaine Defoe as well,
Okay.
former Tottenham player who I was lucky enough to meet a few years ago. Yeah, but of course, there's so many Italian players that I could mention that have been great over the years. Of course, Harry Kane today is brilliant as well.
Scoring goals.
Yeah.
That's what he's there for. So listen, just go back to that. Do you remember the picture that was a little bottle of water cooling your dad down, right?
Yeah.
And when I look at that picture, it makes me smile, because I know that at the time, that's exactly what he needed, because he needed to be cooled down because it was piping hot.
Yeah.
And the picture shows that he was clearly really enjoying that cooling, dousing moment. And so that made me think about kind of gratitude and being thankful for moments in time, and in that moment being thankful for the heat of the sunshine, but also, that kind of cooling down moment. And I think tomorrow is a special day in your family, because somebody's told me that it's little birdie tells me it's your dad's birthday tomorrow. So from all of us at the Muscle Health Foundation charity and all of our muscle riders around the country, and anyone that's tuning in tonight, I'm not going to sing happy birthday to you in Italian, by the way. That's not happening
There is two
tonight.
other birthdays.
Are they? Okay, go on then.
There is Reese's dad, David Mullet, and Ryan O'Leary. Same birthdays.
Wow.
Tomorrow.
So 3 birthdays tomorrow. All good things come in threes, and a happy birthday from the charity to all of them. All right. And just talking about gratitude, you might have heard of somebody called Dr. Rangan Chatterjee. So he's like a British doctor. He's a TV presenter, very prevalent podcaster. And he does this kind of little thing with every evening with his family. It's like a little intervention with his family, all right, around the dinner table, all right. And it's around something that he calls the 3 Ps, all right. So, and the 3 Ps are all about spotlighting gratitude, spotlighting gratefulness. So being thankful for things that have happened, across your day, for example. So you've been such a great sport so far, but I'm asking you to think a little bit more about gratitude and being thankful. And I'm going to ask you the following 3 questions. So one person, Gianluca, today that you're grateful for.
My granddad.
Okay, that's wonderful. One pleasure today that you're grateful for.
Great food. And if I could add the second one, good friends and family.
That's a great combo right there. Great food, good friends and family. And then something that's perhaps been promised that you're grateful for.
That's a difficult one. Tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah.
But each day, that's what you've got to be grateful for, and what I've learned over the years, I guess.
So we're going to go back to a little bit of chatter about lockdown, okay? And I've got a bit of a question coming up here for you in terms of how lockdown has changed, the way that you and maybe the family have had to live your lives. How's it been for you?
It's been difficult because my parents having their own business, having to close up was difficult. Hair salons have been closed most of the time. And so this lockdown meant we had to all be at home together. At the very beginning, my brother was still working, but then he was furloughed. And no, this pandemic just made me appreciate the little things, the things that you really take for granted. And we got to spend more time together. So in the first lockdown, that was brilliant, Of course, it takes its toll after a while. Everyone needs their own space. But I learned a lot about myself and my family as well. We learned a lot about each other, because the main difference was Saturdays, because my parents always worked on a Saturday from when I was young, and it was strange having them around. And yeah, it was a big adjustment, of course. It's been like that for everyone, but you just have to think of the good things, the good moments, more of those that you're going to share after this pandemic. You know, you got to think positive.
I think you made a couple of things there. Noticing the little things each day. That's so important, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's those little things. And you mentioned earlier about learning more about yourself. Can you give me an example of something maybe that you've learned a little bit more about yourself during lockdown?
I think just that you have to be, calm in certain situations. I learned that throughout my life. Like certain things that could frustrate me a few years ago wouldn't now, just because I don't know if it's growing up, but just to be more relaxed and know that at the end of the day, you've got a roof over your head, you've got a bed you can sleep in, you've got meals that you can eat every day, a family that cares about you and is there for you.
Yeah, no, that's a very, very good and sound observation. I often find myself saying to my loved ones and to friends about living in the moment, being in the moment, and saying, you know what, right now, having this conversation with you, being in this moment is as good as it gets. Do you know? This is as good as it gets. And so I'm enjoying this conversation so much. I'm going to jump back into the chat room because we've got Martina Bruno who says,
ciao,
say ciao, Gianluca from Zio Tonio, Zia Pina.
My auntie and uncle in Milan.
There you go.
Say hi.
In Milano.
Ciao, Zio.
And Adams asked a question, which is, Gianluca, what are your ambitions for YouTube?
Just to make memories, tell my story
and
share it with the world.
Absolutely. So we're going to take a step back for a second, because I know that the sport of Powerchair Football is something that you're incredibly passionate about. You're an outstanding player. So tell me, just to begin with, just how much have you missed Powerchair Football? Firstly, let's start there.
It's been difficult.
Yeah.
It's my second family, really. It's like another family. So it's like missing a loved one, that's far away from you, that is within reach, but you just can't quite get to them. It's been difficult for all of us, and I keep in touch with a lot of my teammates. We play online together. We keep in touch, and we're family at the end of the day, be it within our club, within our team, or within the sport in general.
Yeah.
And yeah, we miss the sport. We all do, especially my teammates, because the last time we were there together, we had a great weekend. We won all 5 games. So, we want to get back to that and back to being with each other, basically, and making more memories and winning more medals and trophies.
Absolutely. I mean, lest we forget, and correct me if I'm wrong, I can't remember precisely which year it was, so help me out here. Which was the year that Muscle Warriors Powerchair Football won the championship?
It was when I was at another team. Was it 20?
I think that's when you defected, didn't you?
I did come back,
You did, I know.
I was gone for a little while, and no, it's great to be back, basically.
Yeah, we couldn't afford your transfer fee. I think that was the... And we got another picture just going to pop up here, which is entitled "The Power and the Glory," and just tell us a little bit about this, because people may not be able
brilliant.
to. Tell us what is this?
So basically, there was an article that came out about something I wrote for the WFA website, a little bit about myself, and it got published in the local paper. And I was so happy to be mentioned in that. And yeah, that was a real highlight of last year, despite being in lockdown. This was a great thing, and
Absolutely.
all my family got to see it, and I was really proud. That was like everything you worked for in some ways. It paid off in some sense, because I love the sport so much, and there's so many great moments I have within the sport, and to share that with the world was brilliant.
Yeah. I'm going to correct you on one point, which is you said local paper. My understanding was it was in one of the national papers.
Yep, I was wrong.
And it was focusing on the power of disability sport, and talked about Powerchair Football and other disability sports. But they did a really great write up about Powerchair Football, and now when we look perhaps 10 years ago and where we are today, just how many clubs there are all around the country.
It's amazing.
It's phenomenal. There's a championship league, there's a premiership league, it's continuing to grow. Talk to me a little bit about what it means for you to be back in the fold, back at Muscle Warriors Powerchair Football Club.
It's just amazing to get a chance to teach younger players some of the things I know about the sport, and be with my old friends that I started the sport with. Shout out to Jack and Ryan from all those years ago. We've stayed friends the whole time. Even when I did defect to a different team, we remained friends, and here we are so many years later.
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. It's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Because it brings people together. And I've seen you play. I've seen you. We've attended social events, lunches and dinners. Food is also a common denominator. I've begun to realize in the Muscle Warrior Powerchair Football family, which is lovely. And it just allows all of our players to focus on something else rather than a disability. So they just forget that, and they're on the court, and they're playing the football, and it's a great leveler. And I hope that we will, as a charity, continue to support the club as much as we possibly can going forwards. So moving on to YouTube channel. So okay, Luisi21. This is the moment to talk about your YouTube channel and all your efforts in telling your story. And so why did it start? What was the motivation behind it? And what's the goal?
Well, it was a long story, because I was fresh out of uni. I'd spent about a year searching for jobs. I studied journalism, so camera work was something I was familiar with. I was a big fan of YouTube anyway. I watched a lot of YouTube over the years. And one day I saw a few other people do vlogs on YouTube. You might have heard of Casey Neistat, a famous YouTube vlogger. And so I watched a lot of his videos, and I really got interested in, being in front of the camera. And I realized that it was a way to tell my story. And in a way, it was like my portfolio. If I studied journalism, there'd be a way to put my skills to use and show people what I'm capable of in that world of journalism. And from there, it just blossomed into vlogs and podcasts, and just me telling my story every day. And it's been difficult the past year, trying not to mention COVID too much and the pandemic, because that was all that was going on, and try and keep positive and just tell my story to other people and inspire people and make them laugh. It's been my baby ever since, something that I wouldn't say, it's part of my everyday life. But it's part of my life, really. And I combined it with Powerchair Football, filming training and a few matches and doing vlogs over football weekends. And it's just been really brilliant.
Well, for those that are tuning in this evening, head over to YouTube, punch in at Luisi21, and you'll be presented with many, many, many videos of from Gianluca telling his story. And there's a beautiful thing actually on his YouTube channel under the tab descriptive, which is kind of like where you put a tell a little story about what your YouTube channel's all about. And I've just extracted Gianluca's descriptive because I thought it was poignant and relevant and just useful to present within the context of this conversation this evening. And Gianluca says, quote, "Life is made of moments. You just have to make the most of every moment. Don't be afraid of who you are and be willing to share your true self."
Well, there you go.
There you go. So that message of being yourself and being authentic is coming through loud and clear. So moving on to one of your other great loves. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about football, and I've got to ask you the question, obviously, do you miss going to some of the Tottenham games?
Yeah, I do, 100%. That was another passion of mine that has been lost recently. And yeah, watching it on TV is okay, but it's not like living in the experience in the moment, you know. And there's friends I've made that I would see at every game that I haven't seen for more than a year now, and used to meet up with a lot of my Powerchair Football teammates who are also Tottenham fans, Reese and Ryan, and we'd all meet up and, you know, argue over the starting lineup and, you know, who was playing well and who wasn't. And depending on the result, you know, at the end, we'd go home all fed up, or we'd go home, you know, smiling and cheering for our team, because we've been there for many results, good and bad, over the years. And just shout for your team, you know, cheer your team on, something I haven't been able to do properly since, well, I can't remember the last game I went to.
I'm going to cheer you up with another slide, which Grace is just going to pop up now, which will hopefully reveal. Oh no, that's not the slide. Is that the one?
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
We won't talk about that one. That was their last performance, wasn't it? We won't talk about it. All right, I'm going to jump back into the. So that was wicked, wasn't it? That was very, very wicked. We're gonna jump back and into the chat room. So let's have a quick look. We've got some messages coming through from. Let's have a look. Hello from Laura in Monaco. Laura says hi from Monaco. That's great. Thank you. Thank you. That's come from Reno Maffeo.
That's my cousin.
And that's your cousin. And who's Patrizia Maffeo?
Another relative of ours in America.
So go with this. All right, I'm going to have a go at this. She says, "Bella, interessante questa diretta. Posso seguirti vederti in questo difficile periodo. Un abbraccio." Translates to, oh, here's the English version. "Beautiful and interesting, this live conversation. I can follow you and see you in this difficult period. A big hug." Isn't that lovely?
That's brilliant.
And I think your bro has jumped on. He's got Massimo. Hi, Massimo. Good evening. I think he's just going to get an applaud emoji, so a clapping emoji. So he's clapping you.
That's probably a sarcastic clap.
Do you think so? All right. Let's moving swiftly on then. Ellen says hi. Very well spoken. What a lovely family you all are. That's nice.
Thanks, you. Ellen. That's lovely.
That's nice. And Reno's popped up again and said, "You inspire the inspired Gianluca." Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? And you know what? Let me just give you a little insight on this word inspire or inspiration. It's derived from the Latin word meaning spiritus, which kind of literally translates is about breathing life into. And you know what? You're certainly doing that. You're doing that with yourself. You're doing that with your family. You're doing that with your friends. You're doing that with your Muscle Warrior Powerchair Football colleagues, and just keep being the inspiration that you are. So, do you know what? We all recognize that now more than ever. Do you know what? We need something to lift our spirits, don't we? Yes? Do you agree with that? So if you could invite not one, but two celebrities to your home, all right? for a pot of tea or maybe a glass of Chianti, to help lift your spirits, who would they be and why?
I would have to say, first of all, Diego Maradona, because he was a legend, and we could talk about football, and he played at Napoli, and he transformed that club, and so I could chat to him in Italian, and that would be a great conversation. And of course, Michael Schumacher, one of the best racing drivers to ever step foot in a Ferrari, basically. And I love motorsport, and I love fast cars, as you know. And yeah, that would be a great conversation.
And you could chiocchiere in Italiano.
Yeah.
So speaking of lifting spirits, we're going to have a little break now. So here's a short film that I hope encourages all of our viewers who are enjoying tonight's In Conversation with broadcast, and those that are going to watch this broadcast at a later date, to consider, please, making a donation to help the charity with its continued virtual efforts. So we're back with our special guest tonight on our In Conversation with broadcast with Gianluca Luisi. And speaking of lifting spirits, Gianluca, I have a question for you. Who makes you laugh?
My granddad is probably one of them. My brother, and probably myself sometimes with some of the things I come out with. Yeah.
It's good. It's good. One always needs to be able to laugh at oneself,
of course,
even when Arsenal are losing.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more. You touched on earlier about your journalistic ambitions, and that brings me nicely to talk a little bit more about some of your goals and some of your aspirations that you want to achieve in your life. What are some of the goals and things that you want to achieve in your life?
Of course, happiness is a great thing. I've never been motivated by money in any way. A certain amount of money you need to live a normal life, but it's not to be rich. For me, wealth is happiness and love and friendship, really, and the freedom to pursue your dreams, really, in life. And of course, YouTube is a big part of my life, and I dream of getting more subscribers and all this.
How many more?
But of course, it's just growing every day, learning how to be a better me. It's hard to put into words exact goals in life, but they say yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift, and that's why we call it the present. So that's how I like to view things.
I think you've also mentioned to me in the past about smiling and making other people smile too.
It's very contagious, and a lot of people are putting on a brave face most of the time, but a smile makes a difference, And
Absolutely.
through this pandemic, with masks, you can't really see the smile, but at most difficult times, there's people putting on a brave face and smiling, and it's difficult, to always be happy. I'm not always happy. Yeah. That's normal for anyone. We go through those days where we're just fed up and we want to stay in bed and we hate everything. Yeah. And then we have those days where it's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And it's balance, finding balance.
We're having a
In your
good day
life,
today, aren't
really.
we? We're having a good day today.
We are, yes.
Good
I've been
stuff.
looking forward to this for some time, and it's great to finally have this conversation.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about the world of work, because you touched on it a little bit earlier. I've got a picture coming up just to get a bit of context, and you may recall participating a little while ago. Do you remember this?
I do, yes.
Yeah, participating a little while ago as part of the charity's Inspiring Hearts, Engaging Minds program. So a few years ago now. So what advice or what suggestion would you give to young people listening in tonight, or at some point in the future watching this broadcast, who have their own, work dreams or work ambitions, who want to work, want to realize their potential? What would you be saying to them?
I mean, you mentioned the word ambition, and that is the key thing. Just have faith in yourself, but pursue what you want to do, really, within reason, because everyone will tell you what they think you should do, your parents, your teachers. But if it's got to be something that you truly enjoy and you get love out of doing, because if you don't, then it will be a disaster,
Yeah.
You've just got to do something you love.
What's going on here with this picture?
Well, first of all, my shirt is way too big for me, and I need a haircut. But I'm not too sure what's going on there, actually.
So this is the Inspiring Hearts, Engaging Minds program. Tell us a little bit more about that experience for you.
Well, it was really transformative. It was eye-opening about the world of work. As a disabled person, getting into the world of work, and in some ways, that was at the time when I just started YouTube. And so it was really something that motivated me to do that in some ways. Sent me on that path that I'm still on today. And it was great to be joined by some friends and make some new friends on that whole journey, if you like. And to get a work placement out of it was also really brilliant. That was a great time. I made some great friends. And once again, I learned a lot about myself, and I grew as an individual.
I think that photograph was taken in the offices of GSK in Hertfordshire. And I think you were looking at your schedule for the following 2 days, and what was happening in the different workshops and different things that you were doing. So in terms of your work experience, can you remember where you were?
Yeah,
where you were placed?
It was the Chamber of Commerce in Hatfield.
Yep.
And I was part of their team they have there. And I'd never been really, I'd been in an office environment before, but never worked there and really experienced it, and got to meet all these interesting people that work there. And I realized that, you got to do what you love, and you got to be passionate and have a laugh along the way. Don't take things too seriously. And I had a great time being part of that team, and I felt really welcome. And regardless of disability or not, I felt like a normal person in a normal job, which was key to the whole situation. Because there's many times in life where you can be made to feel out of place. But I didn't feel out of place.
Well, certainly the feedback that we received, which we fed back to you, was that they absolutely loved having you as part of their team, and that you brought so much value and perspective to the work that you were doing there at the Chamber of Commerce in Hertfordshire. So good on you, and I know that they would absolutely love to chat to you again at some point and see how you're doing, and see how how they can make the YouTube channel and so on, and just to get an update from you. It'd be wonderful. You've been an absolute superstar. Time is ticking along. Last question of the evening, to kind of close off tonight, and I just really wanted to ask you if there's like one thing, that we can perhaps all do to make the world just a little bit better, slightly better place for everyone, what would that be?
Just be nice and consider how other people are feeling, and put yourself in their shoes in that situation, and just be humble.
Gianluca, you've been a fantastic guest,
It's been
and
wonderful. Thank you.
from me to you, here's a Muscle Warrior salute to you, sir, and to the family. And before we finish up, as always, I'd love to get everyone's feedback. So please head over to the charity's Facebook page, where you'll find our Survey Monkey link. 30 seconds of your time, just 30 seconds of your time. Any comments so we can improve the broadcast experience even more would be terrific. Now, if you've enjoyed tonight's episode, please can I ask you all to make a little donation, knowing that you'll be helping us continue to change lives and give hope in bringing a little magic and a little joy via our virtual muscle dream efforts. Thanks again so much. And to Gianluca, I've got to ask, I kind of know the answer to this question because you've actually mentioned somebody in this conversation. If you knew someone who you thought might make a really interesting guest for one of our future In Conversation With episodes, maybe it's that YouTuber or the vlogger person that you mentioned, would be absolutely fascinating. Maybe you could help us reach that individual.
That might be difficult, but
well, let's give it a go.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And finally, breaking news. We do this every time. Drum roll. That's me doing the drum roll. Plug. Here we go. Plug time for our next In Conversation With guest, taking place on Wednesday, the 31st of March. Kickoff at 7:30 p.m. Episode number 7. And this time we're in conversation with a gentleman called James Ian. So here's James. And James, I'm going to be this is a very extraordinary young man. We'll be connecting with James, get this, in Los Angeles. He's a songwriter, he's a singer, he's a multi-instrumentalist, and he's an actor. And he was signed to a record label based in San Diego called 8412 Music way back in 2015. But since then, he's released an album entitled The Labor of Love, which he wrote, he arranged, he sang, and he played everything in that album. And you guys can hear it on iTunes and Spotify. And more on that a little bit later. So, like Gianluca, James Ian is living proof that you can do the things that you want to do in your life. And you can even have some laughs along the way while living with a degenerative disability. You see, James has spinal muscular atrophy type 3. More on that in a couple of weeks' time. Remember the date, Wednesday, the 31st of March, 7:30 p.m. There's the diary date. And once again, huge thanks to our fantastic guest, Gianluca Luisi, and to our StreamYard studio manager, Grace, ably assisted by Joe and Shari Lee, Kate and Lindsay. Thank you all for helping tonight's broadcast run so smoothly. For now, have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.